Jai Jain Sabiko, Jai Jain everyone. We are here on the 11th online monthly lecture series in Jainism. And right from Anekantvad, we have covered a lot many topics. And the last topic was Hanuman in Jainism. Today, we are here with another topic, which is Bhagwan Mahavir's prescription of Sarvodaya for peace and harmony. For this lecture, we have today with us our chairperson, Dr. Professor Dharamchand Jain. And I welcome Professor Dharamchand ji. And with the permission of the chair, I would like to begin today's session. And for that, firstly, I'll invite Dr. C. Devakumar ji, who will be the speaker for the day. We have many dignitaries with us, and without further ado, I would like to begin with Mangalacharan. Today, for Mangalacharan, we have a guest with us. He is from our own family. He is a participant of Bhagwan Mahavir Prakrit Fellowship. I welcome and invite Harshit Jain, Harshit Mishra, to recite today's Mangalacharan. Harshit.
नमो वरिहन्ताणम् नमो सिद्धाणम् नमो आयर्याणम् नमो उवज्झायाणम् नमो लोये सर्व साहूणम् एसो पंचणमो यारो सब पाव पणासणो मंगलाणं च सबेसिं पढ़ुमं होय मंगलम् जिनके विमल उपदेश में सबके उदय की बात है समभाव समता भाव जिनका जगत में विख्यात है जिसने बताया जगत को प्रत्येक कण स्वाधीन है करता न धरता कोई है अणु अणु स्वयं में लीन है आत्म बने परमात्मा हो शांति सारे देश में है देश ना सर्वोदयी महावीर के संदेश में है देश ना सर्वोदयी महावीर के संदेश में
Thank you very much, Harshit. Thank you so much. And for the formal welcome and introduction to our speaker and the chair, I would invite our director, Dr. Srinetha Pandey, to come ahead and welcome and introduce.
Namaskar, Jai Jinendra. I welcome you all to the 11th lecture of the monthly lecture series by International School for Jain Studies. And as the 11th lecture, for the 11th lecture, we have invited our Dr. C. Devakumar ji to discuss the topic Bhagwan Mahavir's prescription of Sarvodaya for peace and harmony. We all are aware about the meaning of the Sarvodaya. Sarvodaya means upliftment of all. We know that all the Indian religions, all the religions of Indian system, actually they serve this purpose. We know yato abhyuday nisreya siddhi sadharma, that which makes us psychologically, not only psychologically, spiritually uplift is called dharma. It is very well-known philosophy, and we also know that in Jain tradition, everybody, every human being has a potential to attain anything through self-effort. So we see that in Jain tradition, Jain Dharma provides an equal opportunity to a man, to every living being, to get, to attain, to achieve anything which we like to attain. Means the Jain darshan, the Jain philosophy uh, serve a path to equality, for equanimity, and this is the purpose of religion. This is the purpose of philosophy in Jain tradition. That's why this concept came in existence as a tirth, Sarvodaya tirth. So the topic is very relevant, and to discuss this topic, we have invited Dr. C. Devakumar ji. We have already circulated a detailed announcement, detailed brochure, where you have seen a brief CV of the speaker and the chairperson of this session. Dr. Chakravarti Devakumar is a retired scientist and research administrator from the Indian Council of Agricultural Research, New Delhi, and he has written over 200 research papers, 30 books chapters, and 14 patents, and a couple of books in his scientific academic journey. His research on Jain Parmar has been the most discussed idea. He has published 4 books and many articles on Jainism in Tamil and English. He is well versed in Hindi, English, Sanskrit, Prakrit. So we are very fortunate to have such scholar with us for this session. Dr. Devakumar ji, behalf of myself, behalf of ISGS, I welcome you to our virtual platform. I would like to welcome the session chair, Professor Dharamchand Jain ji. Professor Dharamchand ji, a well-renowned scholar of not only Jainism, for Buddhism as well. I consider him as my guru, as my teacher. If you have to contact one person, single scholar, who is well versed in not only in Sitambar scriptures, but Digambar scripture as well. So Professor Dharamchandji is one of them. All the sects of Indian philosophical system, Indian religious system, so he is well versed with all the philosophical systems of not only Indian philosophy, but Western philosophy also. And just few days back, I got a chance to spend some, you can say, scholarly time with him in a seminar here in Real Institute of Indology. He is a retired professor from Jain and Vyas University, Jodhpur. He served as professor and head in the Department of Sanskrit. He is the founder, director of Buddhist Study Center there. And few months back, he has appointed, nominated as the chairman of Prakrit Bhasha Samiti by the government of Rajasthan. He has written many books, on not only in Jainism but in Buddhism, and each and every aspect of Jain philosophy and Buddhist philosophy. He is a well-known scholar of Prakrit language also. So we are very fortunate to have such scholar with us as a chairperson of this session. Professor Jain, I welcome you to this virtual platform of ISJS. I would like to welcome our co-founder ISJS, Dr. Sulekh Chand Jain ji, our advisor, Sri Narendra Parsan ji. Many scholars from the different part of India have joined us for this session. I can see Dr. Preeti Rani Jain in this session. So I welcome you, Dr. Preeti. I welcome our participants from Bhagwan Mahavir Prakrit Fellowship, from Bhagwan Naminath Fellowship for Research and Writing Skill, and particularly I would like to welcome Mr. Harshit. First time I listen is I can say Mangalacharan. He renounced very beautifully. So I welcome you. I welcome our colleagues at ISJS, Ms. Pragya Jain, Mr. Sushil Jana, Dr. Ashok Singh, everybody. Once again, I welcome you all. Over to you, Pragya.
Thank you. Thank you so much for welcoming us. So now I would request all of you to listen to the lecture carefully. And if you have any questions, you can raise your hands after the lecture. And now I would request Dr. Devakumar ji to begin his presentation. Dr. Devakumar ji.
Jai Jain to all of you. Pragya ji, can you see the slides?
Yes, sir, we can see it.
Is it all right?
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much. Jai Jain to all of you.
You can make it full screen.
You want to still bigger?
Yes, sir, if you can.
Yeah, no issue.
Yes.
At the outset, I like to thank the International School of Jain Studies and the trust that they have, especially Professor Sukanchan Jain ji, Sulekh Jain ji, Sunetra ji, and Narendra Paswan ji, and many other dignitaries who are joined today. And it is my pleasure to welcome you and thank you for joining and strengthening today's session with your benign presence. I'm sure with your interactive session will be very useful and we'll take it forward. And I prefer to give this topic, Bhagwan Mahavir's prescription of Sarvodaya for peace and harmony. And this topic has been really engaging me off and down last 15 years or so. And just without taking much time, I'll start with you may say, more of a Mangalacharan. This is from Mahapuran, Uttar Purana, 74th Parv, and starting Vardhamano Jena Sriman Namha Artha Samutvahan Deyan Me Vriddhimuttada Khadi Karma Vinirmatam Tatvartha Nirnaya प्राप्य सन्मदित्वं सुबोधवाक् पूज्यो देवागमत्वात् तत्र अकलङ्को बहुविधः वीरसेनो महावीरो वीरसेनेन्द्राततां कतः वीरसेनेन्द्रतां कतः वीरसेनेन्द्रवन्द्याङ्क्रीं वीरसेनेन भावितः. So I just picked up this Mangalacharan. Bhagwan Mahavir has been a very highly liberated personality, not only as a Tirthankar, even among the history. Each of the name of him has got a purpose. Anvartanamade, Vardhamano, Vardhamanam is Avardhamanam, Vardhamanam, Avardhamanam. I will not get into details. Jinaha, Sriman, Sriman Swayambhu. In our Sakasranam, first name is Sriman. Then Sanmati, he got the name Sanmati from the Charana Paramesh. Is it okay?
Yes, sir. Now it's okay.
Yeah. I request you to go through the original text to understand more of this and the historical names. When we talk about Sarvodaya, then we come to the Acharya Samantabhadra, who lived in the 2nd century AD. And he was possibly the one of the first few, Acharya Kundakund and Saraswat Then Samantabhadra actually, or Saraswata Acharya means they followed the Srutadhara Acharyas. Which means Dharasena, Putupali Pattark, etc. were Srutadhar, where Sruta Parampara to another level with original text and scholarly commentaries. He stood as a stellar example and disseminated the scriptural knowledge throughout India. He was the first hymnologist in Sanskrit as a Adya called Kavi. That, there are many prashastis about him. I picked up one from Sharivashram Puran by Janasena Acharya. Jiva Siddhi Vidayika Krita Yuktyanushasanam Acharya Samantabhadra, specifically the kind of thing, whatever he could preach, his writings, everything, it resembled at the shadow of Bhagwan Mahavir. Vacha Samantabhadrasya Veerasyeva Vijrampade, which he has picked up two of his works, Jiva Siddhi, which is not available, and Yuktyanusasanam, and the Jansen has picked up these two and said, and Samantabhadra, because of the Saraswat Vidya, he was sort of almost resembling like Mahavir Tirthankar. That Acharya Samantabhadra has written excellent books. One is Atma Mimamsa Devagama Stotra. Ratnagranta Sravakacharya is the forerunner for all the Sravakacharya. We have many Sravakacharya Granth, but Ratnagranta Sravakacharya shines as the number one. Stotra excellent with 143 absolute stotra for the 24 Tirthankaronka for 24 Tirthankars. Yuktyanushasanam is the one which Sarvodaya comes in that. Stuti Vidya or Jena Shata Alankara, Shataka Alankara, excellent one with a lot of chand, meters, Chitrakavi, etc. Jiva Siddhi and the Gandhahasti Mahabhashya. These two books are not available. It is being said that Gandhahasti Mahabhashya is the commentary on Tattvasut, running into 84,000 slokas. The extraordinary traits of Acharya Samantabhadra could be summarized by Dvinam Kamakanam cha Vadinam Vakminam Abhi Yesha Samantabhatriyam Murtirtna Chudamani Yate. You can see the way so much of, I think more than 100 prashastis about Acharya Samantabhadra. He says there are 4 traits he's telling. Kavitva, they are a Kavina, Kavita. Book, it's amazing the way he has done it. Then is intellectual authority, Gamagatva, to explore and expound deep insights of profound religious texts. He could do that. Gamagatva is one quality that has an instinctive to get into the bottom of the truth. And then Vaditva, debating skill laced with profound logic and advocating the most difficult philosophical concepts. In fact, there is a very famous, prashasti. Avudu Tadamatati Chadidi Spuda Chodu Vachada Durchade Jikwa Vadini Samandabhatre Stidapati Sadika Kadan Yesham. There was one well-known Vadi, and when Acharya Samantabhadra opened his lines, his tongue could not open. That is the kind. Avudu Tadamatati Jhadati Spuda Chadu Vachada Durchade Jikwa Vadini Samandabhatre Stitavati Sadika Kadan Yesham. That is the kamesh of skill he had, the kind of thing that. And finally, he had the Vakmitva, charming eloquence of presentation endowed with truth and honesty, which attracted even his advisories. Nobody could dispel that he is telling something great. So Acharya Samantabhadra is one of the greatest, just along with Acharya Kundakundacharya and Samantabhadra are 2 great pillars of it. Now I like to bring it the point, Srinetra Pandeyji also mentioned a point. Surprisingly, you will see Sarvodaya, the word does not occur in any of the dictionaries of the time. This is why Professor Ramji's article, I picked up it. It is in Hindi, but took that is in English translation. The word Sarvodaya is not in Sanskrit literature and its authentic dictionaries. Despite the picturesque and intense feeling of this word, it is not found in major Sanskrit dictionaries like Vachaspatyam, Shabda Kalpatrumam, etc. Then he mentioned in the book Yuktyanushasanam of Jain Acharya Samantabhadra, the word Sarvodaya has been used for the first time as a Sarvodaya Tirth. Tirth means Agam. The word Sarva in Sarvodaya signifies Sarva in the plural, Bahuvacha. The second meaning of Sarva will be considered in all ways, Sarva Prakarena. All kinds of meanings include physical, spiritual, prosperity, noble, loved. He uses word preya, shreya. Very sundar word hai. Economic, political, social, and cultural. That's why I like this topic. It's so contemporary for this today's world. Sarvodaya is an appropriate term for the Tirthankarka, the Tirth, that Agam, its pravachan, is gospel. The concept of Sarvodaya could be said, it is coined by, as I said, by Acharya Samantabhadra as the summum bonum gospel of Lord Mahavir. If someone has to say what Lord Mahavir gave to us, we can say he gave the Sarvodaya to us, that Amrit, Amrosya. By combining both the words Sarva and Udaya to mean upliftment, rise, and success of all souls in diverse forms, in the places of dwelling, at all times and by all means. So the Sarva is so much served, you can put it every Dravya, Kshetra, Kal, Bhav. You can expand it where you want. It is not limited only to human beings, not animals, in all the living forms. I just picked up principal elements of Sarvodaya. What are the Sarvodaya principal elements? Unka anga kya hai? Fourfold toolkit. In the Yuktyanushasanam, Karika 6, Daya Damatyaka Samadhi Nishtam, Naya Pramani Pragasanja Sartham. So only 2 lines I picked up, 2 matters. That is enough for us to discuss. He says that this is a prescription for any society, any individual, any nation, anybody, any ruler. He must have daya. Jeev daya must be there. Compassion. Dhamma, he must have a regulation, control of his senses. Dhamma, senses and passions. Kashai. Then tyag, he must be able to give to the society whatever way he can do. And periodical introspection, samadhi. Samadhi in the modern days, if it is a project, we do that project evaluation and monitoring, periodical. But samadhi is also very, very broad meaning. Samadhi for an individual is an introspection, periodical introspection. If it is a nation, if it is a society, if it is United Nations, everybody needs to do a samadhi, taking an account of it and giving unbiased way of introspecting it. And this should be Naya Pramana Pragadantanja Sartham. It should be guided by true knowledge with tangible arguments. This is very important. Most of the time, if you see in the world, people go by faith. It could be sometimes blind because no questioning is allowed in many of the systems. That is not the one Lord Mahavir wanted it. He said, whatever I give, you analyze it. You become, pariksha muk. You must use it, experiment to see that yourself. Knowledge with tangible argument, that is nigh, as tools for peaceful and harmonious ways of life. They teach two. One is that the first one is the introspection is for the individual, and the self-discipline is for the individual, compassion and charity for the society, the people around, the organisms around. And then he should always, or she should always be guided by the true knowledge with multifaceted the angles of analysis or arguments or naya. So in this treatise called Yuktyanushasanam by Acharya Samantabhadra ji, so he has very clearly said that the Yuktyanushasanam, he used this Yuktyanushasanam word occurs only on this Karika, 48. Drashtagamabhyam avirutta dharmam aviruttam artha prarupanam Yuktyanushasanam te pratikshanam sthiti udaya vyaya atma tattva vyavastam sat ega artha surupam. Sat ega artha rupam. That is very important word. It should be sat. It should be, kind of sat means prasamshavachaka. It should be praiseworthy. It should be accepted by everybody. It should have a permanent value, eternal value, and hidartha rupam. It should benefit everybody. So he said that when you talk about the two tools, one is that what is in that I've written here, the disciplinar logic is neither contrary to the visible word, drishta, that whatever we are seeing, that should be accounted by the phenomena, nor thy scriptures. It cannot be contrary to the book. So the book itself is something to be, if you say it is your noble book, sacred book, it must comply, just like constitution, it should conform to this rule of whatever is said is what is seen in the contrary world, it should not be contrary. If there is a creator God, let's say, then he should account for the kind of various, calamities, poverty, etc. There is always an argument on that. That's it. It accounts for the trinity of every real. In the universe, there are 6 kinds of substances, 5 kinds of astikai, or 7 kinds of tat. It must account for every real. And if you talk about 6 substances, including soul, then they go through the 3 principles, that Udaya, Vaya, Sthiti, Udaya, Vaya. That is always permanent, along with the dynamic in terms of Pariyaya in the modifications. I'm sure you will be reading Tattva Sutra about this more. So in this Yuktyanusasana systematic, the infinite forms of each real are considered without abandoning any of the parts and described one by one. This again we have the Karika, Nanatmatam aprajagat tat ekam ekatmatam aprajagat nana angangangi bhavat tabavastu tatyat kramena vakvacham ananta rupam. He says that when you're using the Yuktyanushasan, you are using this tool, you should analyze all the dravya guna paryay, which means in each of the substances, you should look at the dravyartik नायरूप से and paryartik नायरूप से nanatmatam ekam ekatmatam aprahajat. We should not discard even one quality of it. And angangi bhavat, each one is interlinked. Angangi bhavat vastu tatyat kramena vasham ananta rupam. One should go by step. It is more scientific. I have worked in scientific field for more than 40 years. I know what it means that when you go for investigation, we go by step, and we link each of the steps of it. Now, interdependence of parts in a substratum, the substance, which means that is when I'm saying it, there have been during Acharya Samantabhadra, there's a lot of one-sided views started taking roots, and they started really, creating confusion. So-called Ekantavadis, they just only one concept picked up, and they all go on insisting it without getting it. That was a major problem. Unfortunately, it happened. While examining each part of a real, one should not assume each such part is independent of the real. Each part is linked with one another. Interdependence is as evidence as the action of a sword. Asikriyayam, you use the word asikriya. When you use the sword, it cuts one after another. There's a link that Mithona Vekshaha Purushartha Hetu Nam Shana Shanshi Pradakasti Tepya Parasparekshaha Purushartha Hetu Drashtanaya Tatvat Asikriyayam. So you see the way, the beautiful, melodious way he has written is the use of the words amazing part. Mita anapeksha, we should not have any illusion, any myth, any prejudice. We cannot have. I thought it should be green everywhere. It cannot be everywhere. Like that. Mita anupeksha, anapreksha, we should be independent of any of the bias. If the judge, when he gives, he is not biased. That is what is part. Purushat yetu namsha nachanshi. That's what we have given about earlier. Without leaving any part of it, one should do this part. This is the another principle. One-sided view is perilous. That is important. That is what one-sided view, which does not take into the one-sided standalone points of view, such as describing a substance, either permanent, you say it is nitya or anitya. Those days, there are two schools that were going around. One is nitya. They said that all the substances are nitya. And there is another school which is going as all the substances, what you see is all anitya, kshanika. They harm themselves and others because it is not the truth. It is not the total part of it. But as you had proclaimed, when the assertions are understood to have been made only from certain standpoints, these reveal the true nature of substances and therefore benefit one and all. Everything becomes null and void if one-sided view is applied. Eva nitya chanigadayo nayaha mithunapekshah swaparapranashine eva tattvam vimalasya te munehe parasparekshaha swaparopakarina. Please note the word swaparapranashine swaparopakarina. How nicely as you did. If you take one-sided view, I say it is day, you say it is night. When we both argue, both the concepts are destroyed. We lose the goodwill of both. Swapara. And when we take into each of the point of view into consideration, harmoniously we put it into a rainbow, it becomes swaparopakarena. It's a beautiful in Swayambhastot, and that's what he has put it. The twin principles of Vidhi or Nisheth, we need to have when we are going to investigate it, any part of it. It will be, when you want to investigate even criminal jurisprudence or chemical investigation, we want to find out what is the substance there. We always use the tool of Vidhi and Nisheth. We have the test, either the test is positive or negative. The attributes of existence and existence in an object are valid from standpoints. The validity of the statement is contingent on the speaker's choice at that moment of the attribute that he wishes to bring to the fore, as the other attributes are relegated to the background. One after another, they come into attention, and then it does not mean others are not. When we are talking of person A, does not mean all the 25 other alphabets are not missing. No. Guna pradhanartham idam vivakyam jinasyate tat vishudamapatyam vedir nishedasya katham chidistau vivakshaya mukhya guna vivastha. We see them in Swayambhastot very nicely. First one is in the Suviti Tirthankar, another one is Sumati Tirthankar. He establishes Vidhi and Nisheth. Vidhi is yes, Nisheth is no. One should not exclude any trait. That is another point. Just because we are seeing a mango tree, just because there is no fruit or mango, we cannot say it will not have any mango. Mango will come at its time. Absence of any trait in a real is also its characteristic. Abhi nahi hai, zarur aage aa jayega. It will be measurable. The absent trait in many cases may appear at a later period. Or if it is not, that is also a good sign. Suppose I am not having diabetes. That's a good sign. So we should measure it whether I am diabetic or not. So they said, Bhagwan Mahavir said, you must take into account what is also not present in a particular substance. Sans real, there is neither trait nor non-trait, abhav, that can be absurd. Bhavadi abhavo bicha vastu dharmo bhavantaram bhavavat argadaste primiyate cha vyapatishyate cha vastu vivastangam ameyam anyat. So that's beautifully said, so scientific. Suppose we want to say we don't want to have a disease, we don't want to have a diabetes, we don't have any other disease kind of it, even measurement of it, that cannot be excluded. And while I'm talking more about the knowledge system because somehow it is not really prevalent. Maybe it is prevalent in advanced studies like science or sociology or economics, etc. But among the common man, he is not using this important trait of his knowledge which he has got. Both integrated and differentiated approach is essential. Every object has both general and special characteristics, and using toolkit of vidhi and nished, that is yes and no, asti and nasti, one can characterize all traits and the dynamics. Paryay. The toolkit of Syadvada Sabdabangi is thus inferred. Yes and no, asti nasti, then becomes 7. Vishesh Samanya Vishakta Veda Vidhi Vivachet Avidaya Vakyam Vedat Veda Bhutta Avishishtata Syat Vyavrati Bhuttasva Vishishtadate. So he becomes a very nicely puts it how one should say integrated way and differentiated way, one after another, and all the parts of it, so that we come to the truth. When we add all of them, we get a truth. So now coming to the important point is Sarvodaya. Samantabhadra Acharya used Sarvodaya for first time, or nobody has used it for that matter, even though it's a simple term. And he uses almost at the end of this Yuktyanushasanam. 61st Karika, the stanza uses. You look at the beautiful ways. Sarvantavat tat gunamukya kalpam, sarvanta shunyam cha mitona peksham, sarvapadam antakaram nirantam, sarvodayam tirtamidam tavaiva. What a way command here. Your tirth, your preaching, your gospel, your agam, your way of life, your dharma, it's actually sarvodayam. Because once one adapts it, accepts it, one in fact believes that, and isko sarvodaya survaka. All that good things are going to fructify, going to blossom. That is what it is. So now if you see this karika, sarvantavat tirtam. Tat gunamukya kalpam tirtam. Sarvanta shunyam cha mitonapeksham is also tirtam. Sarvapadam antakaram nirantam tirtam. So he has put tirtha and sarvodayam. The tirtam, that is the agam preached by you, Lord Mahavir, it has all these traits. Sarvantavat, number 1. Tad gunamukya kalpa, number 2. Sarvanta shunyam cha mitona peksham. When we take it as a false way, there is all shunya, it doesn't exist. And sarva apatam antakaram. It all the obstacles are finished. Sarvapatam antakaram. Apatam antakaram. All the troubles are put to an end. Nirantam, without any gap. That is what Sarvodayam, that your Tirtham is really truly Sarvodayam. The metaphysical anthology of Sarvanta Tirtham, Sarvantavat, Sarvanta Tirtham. Per Jain metaphysics, at every level from atom to cosmos, there are equal and opposite traits, dharma, inherent in every substratum, including the souls. The differentiative use of vidhi and nisheth is applicable in discovering the infinite traits of a substratum. In other words, the Jaina metaphysics is all inclusive, all inclusive. When you say all inclusive, which means we accommodate both, yin and yang, those who are opposing it, those who are supporting it, everybody has a place in the society. That is what inclusive society. Whether it is a different language, different state, different country, we need to be inclusive to give as a human being, we have to give them the space. There's a beautiful commentary by Swami Vidyanand, and this for this sloka has run into commentary about 8-9 pages. Tadevam samanyado vidhi nishetatmakam vakyam sarvantavat katyade sarvantanam vidhi nishedapyam sankraha. When we say sarvantam, ant means here the trait, not the end of it. We take into account all the traits by the principle of vidhi and nished. It is there or it is not there, depending on the time and place. Tad evam samanyado vidhi nishedatmakam vakyam sarvantavat katyade. Because sarvantanam vidhi nishedapyam sankraka. In any sentence, in the pravachan, it is the sankraha is a collection of vidhi and nished. Sarvantavat vakyam siddham dravya paryaya samanya vishesheshu sarvantanam antarbhavat sarvasya antasya tasvabhava anadikramat. So he puts it a beautiful, very scholarly commentary on each of the word. Each one runs to two pages, each of the word of it. That's what it means to say the ontology means Sarvanta means Bhagwan ka agam hai, preaching. It is Sarvanta. It includes every aspect of substances, reals in the world. Unity and diversity in a single substance coexist together. That is, we always take a Bharat, India is unity in diversity. Bharat is Ek Desha, one country, but it is diverse in languages, in states, in region, in climate, etc., etc. We always are proud to say we have unity in diversity. To describe this unity and diversity, there is a technique called Gunamukya Kalpada. Kalpata means a tool, guna or gaun or mukh. That is to say, since you have the being objects of valid knowledge, pramana, both unity, that is abheda, ekatva, advaita, aneka, etc., etc., and diversity, bheda, pratakva, in a single substance are not imaginary but real. Depending on the speaker's intention, these become primary or secondary. Primary is mukhya, secondary is gaun, without there being any conflict in their coexistence in the same substance. Suppose in the parliament, today they start discuss about Punjab, does not mean all the other 28 states are not present. Punjab is the topic of discussion, but other states also exist, other union territories also exist. So Guna Mukhya Kalpada, we take one after another. What we pick up is Mukhya, and the others are all gone, which are in the background. Pramana Gocharau Santo Bheda Bedo Na Samvrati Tav Ekatra Aviruddhau Te Guna Mukhya Vivaksharya. In Atma Mimamsa, he gives a very good definition of about this Guna Mukhya Kalpa. Sarvapatam antakaram nirantam sarvodayam tirtam idam tapaiva. So that is what the end word of it. The supreme gospel spells the end of all calamities. With your permission, I read this commentary. Tata sarvapadam antakaram tavaiva paramakama lakshanam tirtam sagala durnayanam antakaratvat तत्कारण शारीरिक मानसिक विविध दुख लक्षणानाम अपादाम अंतकरत्वे उपपत्तते मिथ्या दर्शन निमित्ता ही सर्वाः प्राणिनाम आपत यदि सर्व मिथ्या दर्शनानाम अंतकरम तीर्थम सर्वताम अंतकरम सिद्धम ततएव निरंतम केनचित् मिथ्या दर्शनेन विच्छेत्तुम उपशक्तेर अविच्छेत्तुत्व असिद्धे है अच्युतत्व सिद्धे है तथा सर्वोदयं तीर्थमिदं तवैव सर्वेषाम् अभ्युदय कारणानां सम्यक् दर्शन ज्ञान चारित्र भेदानां हेतुत्वात् अभ्युदय हेतुत्व उपपत्ते सर्व उदय अभ्युदयोऽस्म्यामीति सर्वोदयं तीर्थमिदं तव एव इति वचनात्. What he says, it is the end of all evils. And therefore it is assumed that the characteristics of various sufferings, physical or mental or social, or the end of calamities, or the end of calamity. For all the calamities of living beings are the cause of illusion and falsehood. This is what is unfortunate thing. We are not able to discuss in a single platform, taking any of the theological schools. They get upset. We need to have an open-minded discussion about the pitfalls of any religion, any religious schools, because it has been written some 1500 years, 2000 years ago. But in this today's context, it needs to be recalibrated, looked at it. So if all the calamities that are coming because of the illusion and falsehood and blind faith. Similarly, this gospel of all rise, Sarvodaya, is yours, since it is the cause of all the causes of prosperity. Abhyudaya, he says that point. So once we adapt Bhagwan Mahavir,
Hello. Sir, you are not audible. Devakumar ji, we are not able to. Oh.
I think there is some network issue with, yes.
Yes, but
is it okay? Is it visible, Prakyaji?
yes,
Can you hear me?
yes.
Thank you so much. So I maybe another 5 minutes. Do I have 5 minutes?
Yes, sir.
Oh, thank you, Sunetra. So nice of you. So now I just wanted to pick up how this Sarvodaya can be useful, can be applied. There is an institution called Institute for Economics and Peace in Australia, Sydney, which many branches, of course. They come out with called the Global Peace Index, taking 23 indicators for each of the nation. And the indicators of three types: ongoing domestic and international conflict. There are 6 factors, indicators. Societal safety and security, 11 indicators. And militarization, which is another important point, 6 indicators. They use 23 indicators and come out every year, very, kind of map. They do the mapping. What is the mapping? So with the using 23 indicators for each of the nation, the statistical weightage is given 1 to 5. And those nations or the region which are in red are nearer to the 5. Those nations which are in green, they are nearer to 1. The yellow, what we see in India, is in between. So, and even in, if you can say Africa, you can see some of the nations are in red. So this is what every year is being plotted, and a good government will look into it, and there are ranking given, and they can take remedial steps. Now, just I picked a few points. 5 most and least peaceful countries in terms of safety and security. You can say the most peaceful countries are Finland, Japan, Ireland, Singapore, and Norway with a score of 1.2 onwards. And the most least peaceful countries are Afghanistan, Yemen, Syria, South Sudan, Democratic Republic of the Congo. And 5 least peaceful countries in terms of militarization and ongoing conflict. You can see again, same, you come to the same country, Yemen, Ukraine. Ukraine has joined Syria, Russia, and Afghanistan because of the heavy militarization. And we have the ongoing conflict. We have Israel, Hamas is already going on, Russia versus Ukraine, USA joining party to all of this, North Korea versus South Korea, France in Europe, these are things. If you look at the economic cost of this violence that happens every year, we spend as much as $17.5 trillion, which is quite a money. If this money is diverted to poor countries, we will see Sarvodaya in no time. Out of the military expenditure is of 44%, internal security and expenditure is, that is called internal defense, is 30%. So 70% of the money out of the 17.5 trillion goes because of insecurity. We don't trust each other. We don't trust our neighbor. So we have to militarize it as much as possible. We are every year after year, we are spending a lot of money because of the fear psychosis and the lack of fraternity on this point. So they have come out with 8 pillars of positive peace, that is Sarvodaya, I would say. These pillars of positive peace interact systematically to support society's attitudes, that is important. Institutions are the government, and structure, that infrastructure, and that underpin development and peace building. High levels occur where attitudes make violence less tolerated. Institutions are resilient and more responsive to society's needs, and structures create the environment for the non-violent resolution of grievances. You see, independently, this institution over the years could come out with the 8 points of positive peace. That is, first and foremost, is if you can see the circle, well-functioning and government. Governance is fundamental. Throughout the world, if you see, wherever poor governance, there is a lot of violence and malnutrition, poverty, etc. Equitable distribution of resources. In our country, there is a paradox. We have got a lot of billionaires, but a lot of poor people are also there. Maybe 50 crore poor people are there, minimum. Of course, the government has got 80 crore, keeps on giving and the ration every month. So equitable distribution of resources is the bane of the modern civilization. There is no flow of information. If the information flow is blocked, like Jain or fortunate point, whichever country has got a good relation with the neighbors, that means our country still we are caught up with this. High levels of human capital. We need to put lot of human capital, I'm sorry, it just got disconnected. I'm connecting it back. So I was saying there's 8 pillars of positive peace is that government should be really fair and democratic and good governance. Second one is equitable distribution of resources, which is very critical. Free flow of information. RTI should work properly in our country. Good, you can judge yourself. High levels of human capital. We must spend more money in education, training, skill development, okay, and also attitude change. We need to put a lot of money, and the primary health. Acceptance of the rights of others. That is what is very important. Sarvodaya talks about giving space for each one of them. We must give acceptance of rights of others. This is the denial of right, that is what is leading to conflicts without saying. And can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. बीच में चला जाता.
Yes, yes.
Business environment. Economy, because it shows sound business, ethical business environment. These are the 8 they have identified. I think we can see this among the Sarvodaya. These elements fit very well. We can always expand it. So like Jain, everybody, you can give to many of the chairs to work on Sarvodaya and expand this concept, work with collaboration with the Institute of Economics for prescription. Bhagwan Mahavir prescribed the solution of Sarvodaya by the adoption and by practice of which all hurdles to peace and prosperity could be put to an end at every moment, at every place, for everybody. By being considerate and accommodative with justice, compassion, self-restraint, charity, and constant introspection of evaluation and monitoring, all the cure against the conflicts and violence, inequality, poverty, and malnutrition, etc., witnessed in the world. If only the rulers and masses understand and adapt it in their daily life. This is what you say, that is the thing. Finally, as an invocation, Tava Janasasana Vibhavo, Jayadi Kalava Vigunanusasana Vibhava. In Swayambhu Stotra, Bhagwan Mahavir, he worships like this: O Lord Mahavira, your glorious reign, शासन full of deceit, that is कलयुग में भी आपको शासन जयवंत हो रहा है. अहिंसा का महात्मा गांधी ने और अन्य लोग ने, नेल्सन मंडाला, everybody applied it. So much of that Bhagwan saw all that thing, अनेकांतवाद, pluralism, everything. That's why तव जन शासन विभव जयति का लाभ अपि गुणानुशासन विभव करके बहुत बढ़िया सुंदर स्वर्ण स्तोत्र में है. With this I end my talk. I invite your past, interactive sessions. Thank you very much. Sadhu Jai Jain.
Thank you very much for this wonderful talk, Dr. Jain. I enjoyed it thoroughly. And I think after Mimamsa, Yuktyanushasanam is a masterpiece by Samantabhadra Acharya. If anybody has any questions, kindly raise your hands. Before anybody raises their hands, sir, may I ask a question?
Yes, Pragya ji, बताइए.
Do you think this Sarvodaya of Lord Mahavir, which is discussed by Acharya Samantabhadra here, is actually Syadvad?
Can you
I mean to ask.
repeat? I just had some break.
I mean to ask, can we say that Sarvodaya has some shadow of Syadvad? Anekant, Syadvad or Anekant?
No, Sarvodaya, I want your question. Thank you, beta. My point is, of course, about Syadvad and logics, he is the Samantabhadra is the sort of Janak. 1 second, what happened?
Now we can hear you, sir.
क्या वो इसमें चला गया? Has it gone into?
So we can see you and hear you as well.
Okay, that's wonderful. No, you correctly said Syadvad is very much inclusive of it, and he wanted much more than. He wanted that Daya, Dhamma, Tyaga, Samadhi, Nishtam, Naya Pramana, Prakrazanja Satsam. He includes both of them. Naya Praman mein Syadvad, Anekantvad comes up, and in addition to that, he wants us to be more humane, compassionate, that we need to share. So in that particular one stanza, he gives a real mantra for us. In individual life, we must have compassionate, fraternity, fellowship feeling. Then we must be able to restrain ourselves so that others are not disturbed. Then we must give excess what we have it to the society, and then is constantly introspecting it. This introspection, I was in charge of the World Bank project. We had the project to my evaluation and monitoring. Then for ICE, Indian Council of Researchers, we have 100 odd institutes. We are given a quinquennial report, review report, which is a QRT. 5 yearly we used to review. So Samadhi means for each institution to really get into the nut and bolt of it, what are things they committed, and what is the timetable they committed, etc. As similarly, we do on samvatsari for our own say. This he has given as a formulation for every institution, every structure, every society. And
Right.
without anekantvat, you cannot do it. Dialogue cannot take place when we are not in the same page. Anekantvat in the pluralist society automatically comes.
Yes, yes, because we were talking about Nishad and Vidhi. So I thought, all right, if anyone has any question to
Vidhi
ask.
Nishad,
Yes, yes.
that Vidhi Nishad, put Syad. Yeah.
Yes, Dr. Upadhyay.
Upadhyay Saab has joined. Wow, great. Nice to see from Shravan Blagla. Maybe he's in Delhi. Jayakumar Saab.
हाँ
Jai Jinesh sir.
हाँ चक्रवर्ती सर, जय जिनेन्द्र। बहुत ही संस्कृत सूत्रों को लेकर के आपने मौलिक उद्बोधन दिया, दार्शनिक पक्ष था। अंत में आपने सर्वोदय तीर्थ पर भी चर्चा किया, बहुत अच्छा लगा। आपका मैं धन्यवाद प्रेषित करता हूं। साथ साथ में विधि और निषेध को लेकर के वाक्य की जो आपने कथन की है, वाक्यस्य किम अभिप्रायः, वाक्य किसको कहा आपने, थोड़ा सा इस पर चिंतन प्रस्तुत करें। सुन रहे हैं मेरी बात, सुन रहे हैं आप?
Sorry for that. There's a lot of internet trouble. I think Jayakumar Saab has raised something. He said something.
Yes, sir. He is saying that you just mentioned vakya. So the term vakya, for what this term stand for?
I think there is a lot of network issue from his side. Do you think we should go to listen to our chairperson?
Before that, I think Narendra Parsons sir is here. So, if
Very, very
yes,
unstable.
yes.
Apologize for that, Sunetra ji. I'm sorry for that. आज ज्यादा ही तंग कर रहा है. Yeah. और जयकुमार साहब ने कुछ कहा होगा. I missed out.
जय कुमार साहब ने ये कहा कि वो जो वाक्य शब्द आपने प्रयोग किया, सो द टर्म वाक्य, सो वाक्य फॉर व्हाट इट स्टैंड, किसके लिए, इसका अभिप्राय क्या है, अभिप्राय क्या है वाक्य का?
किसका?
वाक्य, वाक्य शब्द आपने
नहीं,
प्रयोग किया।
वाक्य जो है ये जस्ट यूसेस क्रियाकारकम एंड उनके ये कहना कि आगम में एक एक वाक्य है और क्रियाकारक से भरपूर भरा हुआ है. दैट्स व्हाई यू यूज द वाक्य. इट इज विद्यानंद स्वामी ने, ये मैं आपको कारिका में भी है. वाक्य मीन्स लेट्स सी इफ एनी बुक, एनी आगम, इट कंटेन्स लॉट ऑफ वाक्य. ईच वन इज फुल ऑफ मीनिंग. ईच वन हैज गॉट कारिका कारक. दैट्स व्हाट ही वांटेड टू से. कारक तो भरा हुआ है. दैट्स व्हाई वाक्य की बात की. कारक के बारे में काफी डिस्कशन है. उन each without karak, the car, if it, that is what his argument has been. If something is permanent, nitya hai, or something is impermanent, anitya hai, उसमें कारक का प्रयोग नहीं हो सकता. ब्यूटिफुली एज आप और इनकी रत्न ये सॉरी स्वयं स्तोत्र में भी उन्होंने काफी इसके बारे में व्याख्या किया. जी जी.
सुलेख अंकल हाथ उठा रहे थे.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Jai Jinendra, Devakumar ji, very
Jai Jin-
beautiful lecture. You gave a very
Yes, sir.
extensive background of literary point of view. What the word you mentioned. Let me just say only few comments. Mahatma Gandhi and also Vinoba Bhave, they very much promoted this word. And I consider Bhagwan Mahavir the greatest social engineer and the greatest reformer. He changed the society of those days. Even those are applicable up to this time. So number one, my request to you, in this year of 2550th year of Nirvana Bhagwan Mahavir, this whole philosophy of Sarvodaya, what he was, what did he stand for, what he changed. We see that in human rights, women rights, animal rights, Paryavaran, everywhere we see that. So I think that number one, we need to bring it out. That will be extremely, extremely useful. And The other thing I just want to mention here, there's quite a few people who have joined from outside India. Dr. Erika Kranti, she is from University of Turin, Italy. She is here. And the only reason I'm mentioning is that she is going to be Bhagwan. I forgot which Bhagwan because we have 24 Tirthankar we've been assigning. She will be holding a Jain position at University of Toronto, University of Turin from next month. And she is very fluent in Hindi. So
Wow.
Erika ji, आपका स्वागत है. She speaks better Hindi than I can.
नमस्ते
Okay.
सभी को.
See,
राजेंद्र.
So we want to welcome these kind of people, and she will probably, promoting this Sarvodaya. In fact, she told me the other day she will be promoting Sarvodaya philosophy of Bhagwan Mahavir in her lectures, and she will be doing an extensive survey of the Jain community, the old and the new Jain in Italy and in that part of the world. So, Erika, बहुत-बहुत आपका welcome है, स्वागत है. So, with that, I just want to make comment. Thank you, Devakumar ji, for giving this very extensive literary meaning, which I never knew that Sarvodaya is so many things. So I appreciate. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. I am really blessed. Erika ji, you want to say something?
Yeah.
I just thought.
Erika, you can also open your video.
Erika ji, bolo.
कुछ तो कहिए. Welcome. We appreciate. We congratulate.
Erika, unmute.
She's there. Jai Jain.
Jai Jinendra सभी को. Nice to see you all. Also from ISJS. It's a pleasure. And yeah, we are lucky to start this project thanks to ISJS support. And so we will be starting next year with a team of 4 people at the University of Turin in Italy. And we will be carrying on a research based on the Jain communities in Italy and Southern Europe. So we will focus on the community, on the history of the community, and also on the existence of converted Jains, if are there. And also we will focus on the entrepreneurs in Italy and in this part of Europe. And on Jain youth, so how the youngster live the faith and Jainism, and of course about the eco-friendly way of life and the initiative of Jain in this part of Europe. Because as you might know, Northern Europe has been already extensively taken into consideration, but nothing has been done to date on this part of Europe. And also in Italy, there were several scholars and Indologists who translated Jain text, and they dealt with Jainism. But this work has been somehow neglected by the scholarships up to date. So this is our idea for a big project with that combines different skills of our team. So also with not only, of course, a literary focus, but also or philosophical one, but also anthropological and social.
Erika ji, 2 positions have been established over there. You will be the 2 scholars working from next month, and those have been fully paid for.
Great. Welcome you. We like to hear you more on. Thank you, Erika ji. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you, Erika. Congratulations. And
thanks to you all again.
Erika, what is the name we have assigned to this program? I forgot Tirthankar name. What is the name we have assigned to your program?
Adinath.
Bhagwan Adinath, yeah.
Okay, great. So with this, we are towards the end of this lecture, and I think Subhash ji has something. Subhash ji, I'll take you quickly. kindly just say, because we also want to listen to the chair. Yes, Subhashi.
Hello, namaste to everybody and all the dignitaries and Devakumar ji. So my question uh, here is, uh, we have we do not have any doubt, and we should not also have any doubt regarding Sarvodaya as a theory to develop all the whole mankind. But so it is a sound theory to develop. Everybody accepts, and I also, that it is a sound theory. It can be applied for the development of the whole mankind. But the gap remains that in its execution, how there are other theories also regarding which are concerned about the development of the whole human being, but execution of those theories in practical field, uh, I think these are not happening in sound way. So we have the theory, sound theories, lots of steps to develop the humankind, but there is the gap in the practical world, in the execution of these theories, and that is why lots of conflicts, lots of terroristic activities, lots of violences are going on in the world. So how this gap between the theory and the practical execution be fulfilled, how this gap can be bridged? So this is my question, sir.
Thank you, Subhashi. Very good question. If you look at it, in at least I know about Jainism, there are a lot of information, concepts that are just lying without being exposed. And maybe because you are a minority, people reading, the scholars are also very few, and most of scholars are busy only doing puja, etc. And with the result, last 10 years, I've been spending more time on this. There are many concepts. I worked on World Bank project, United Nations. I know how this Sarvodaya is so useful as a tool. Unfortunately, we Jains are not able to come out with a kind of, as you say, the toolkit, how Sarvodaya can be applied in every aspect of the field, health, education, the kind of atrocities, meaning conflict resolution, etc., etc. But somehow, I think that's the reason when I was requested here, I thought I'll bring this concept because a lot of scholars all over the world, I'm sure they will pick it up and take it to the level. When Acharya Samantabhadra coined this word, he expected that this will be the single word to pick it up, and it is up. Sarva is so much, kind of pronoun. It can be used everywhere. There is no boundaries for that. Udaya is, of course, the Abhyodaya that writes. So I totally agree with you. The idea of flagging this topic is, it is something available like this. There are many people are writing about it. People are not understood the kind of, how the universe is operating in the microscopic level, macroscopic cosmos, etc. That these are still, even though many of them have been adapted, copied by many other religious systems, still we have a lot to offer to the world. And more so because the conflicts are increasing so much at domestic, within the house, within the society, everywhere. And so Acharya Samantabhadra reinvented it. And if you read Apta Imams or Yuktyanushasanam or Swayambhustot, he really has put it, and we need to understand that point of it.
Yes,
Kundakacharya takes it from the other level, Adhyatmic level. Samantabhadra brings to the society level. That is what is important. Yeah. Thank you so much. I hope I have answered.
Sir,
Thank you, sir.
Samni ji and Dr. Arihant also have a couple of questions. I would request both of them to send their questions to us. Samni ji has already written. If Dr. Arihant also writes his question in the chat box, we will try to answer because we want to listen to our chair and we do not want to be late for that. I will invite Professor Dharamchandji to address all of us about this lecture in next 7 to 10 minutes.
Okay. Welcome to all of you. We are quite thankful to Dr. C. Devakumar ji for his excellent lecture. We enjoyed it. And he has mentioned the gist of Yuktyanushasanam. What has been told by Samantabhadra in Yuktyanushasanam, he has presented it. And he has correlated it with Sarvodaya in the present context. What is the need of Sarvodaya? Which is with the word used by Samantabhadra in his Yuktyanushasanam. And he says, Sarvodaya tirthamidam tavaiva. This Sarvodaya tirth is only your. You have presented it. But there is inbuilt anekant drishti and Naya drishti. There is Naya theory of Jainism through which Samantabhadra is presenting the Sarvodaya concept. That it is because it gives light to everybody to see the existent, what exists, what is Sat. We can know the Sat in the right way if we are knowing it through Nayas. Nayas, Dravyartik Naya, Paryartik Naya, Samanya, Vishesh, etc. He has given so many arguments that how can we understand the real thing? What is the reality? We can understand it to Nayas only. And he has developed that this concept of Nayas can eradicate our ignorance and misconception, understanding the reality, the real things. So he gives only a view to understand the reality, to understand the right thing, how to understand. So he has eradicated our misconception to know the reality. This is the concept given in Yuktyanushasanam. But how it can be as Sarvodaya Tirtha, that is another thing through which all the tenets preached by Bhagwan Mahavir comes into that category, that context. So, what is Sarvodaya and what is Tirtha? Sarvodaya, Sarveshamudaya. Sarveshamudaya, the upliftment of all, and upliftment in every kind, in every aspect. Upliftment in every aspect is also Sarvodaya, and upliftment of everybody is also Sarvodaya, and upliftment of every living being is also Sarvodaya. So Sarvodaya has three dimensions, three aspects. So we should understand this Sarvodaya in these all aspects. That Abhyudaya, what has been said by Dr. Srinetha Pandey, Yato Bhede Nitsresa Siddhi Sadharma, which has been told in Vaisheshik Sutra of Kanad. And Jainism also accept it. And later, the main goal of Jainism is emancipation from all sorrows. And we can get it through this Sarvodaya Tirtha. So what is Tirtha? Tirtha has three meanings. The first one is Tirtha, which was conceptualized by Tirthankaras, and it has four components, which are Sadhu, Sadhvi, Shravak and Shravika. So there are four components of Tirtha. But here in this Yuktyanushasanam, Tirtha word denotes only the pravachan, the preachings or the agama, which the preachings which have been collected in agamas. So that is also tirtha. So tirtha is pravachan, and it has been clarified in Visheshavashak Bhashya also of Ganidin Bhadragani Kshama Shraman. Tirtha is pravachan, because we can across, we can cross the world, world of sorrows through this tirtha, through this pravachan. So it is tirtha. And the third meaning is tirtha, which is ford, where it is found in rivers, near the rivers. That is also tirtha. But here, and tirthasthalas are also tirtha, where the statues or pratimas of Bhagwan Tirthankaras are found. Those are also called as tirtha, because going there, we understand that we will be emancipated from this worldly sorrows. So this is the tirtha. So what tirtha, what pravachan has given by Lord Mahavir, that is Sarvodaya Tirtha, and that can be, if we understand it rightly, if we understand it thoroughly, then we can really enjoy the Sarvodaya, the concept of Sarvodaya. Sarvesham Udaya Tatra Vartate. Sarvesham Udaya, upliftment of all living beings, all human beings and all living beings, which include animals, birds, reptiles, or any one sensed organs, living beings also. So this is a wide term that all living beings should be protected, and they should be given opportunity for their upliftment. This is the notion of ahimsa of Jainism. Every philosophy discusses non-violence or ahimsa, but what is the peculiarity of Jainism? What is the peculiarity of Bhagwan Mahavir's ahimsa? So it has been mentioned in Acharya Sutra. There has been said that sabbe jiva piyawa suhasaya dukkha padikula piyavaha piya jivino jivu kama sabbe sin jiviyam piyam. Every living being wants to live, and all life is dear to all. They want to live. This concept has been given only in Acharya Sutra, in the whole philosophies of the world. Every living being wants to live. This has been emphasized in Acharya Sutra. We do not find such word in another text of the philosophies of world. So every living being wants to live, so we should protect his want to live, and it is the right to live. Right to live is protected here. And now we discuss about human right, and human right also, and animal right also. There has been mentioned that there is also right to live. They want to live. So every living being wants to live. So we should understand that their will, and we should also equate ourselves with them. That what we want, they also want. What has been told there, suhasaya, we want that we should be in a happiness, with happiness and with pleasure. So the other beings also want to live with happiness and pleasure. So we should protect their pleasure, their happiness. So we should not kill them. We should not kill them. This is the preaching of Lord Mahavira, which has been protected in Acharya Sutra. In the same way, there is no any adulteration. So this is the non-violence, and through which compassion comes out. Compassion through which we can help others, which has been developed by Uma Swati or Uma Swami in Tattva Sutra, Parasparo Pagraho Jivanam. We should help others, we should cooperate others in living, and we should minimize our wants. We should minimize our wants, our demands, and we should treat them likely us. So if we do not restrict ourselves, for our livingness, then we should restrict ourselves for not to kill the mobile living beings, trust jivas. So we should restrict that. We should not kill living beings, mobile living beings, and we should be uh, we should live with plants. We can use plants for our living, living food for and other needs should be fulfilled. So how can we achieve Sarvodaya, and what is Sarvodaya? Sarvodaya, if every living being fulfills his needs, basic needs, then it is one aspect, and he feels happiness in his heart, in his mind, in its mind, then it is also second aspect of Uday, upliftment. But due to misconception, due to misunderstanding, the human beings are collecting more and more, accumulating more and more, and they do not use the all things. They can't use it, but they are harming. They are harming the right of other living beings to fulfill their demands. So this is a awkward situation in this world. So this can be eradicated through the sermons of Bhagwan Mahavir, where it has been told that not only killing but exploiting them, making them slaves, and making them unrest, that is also hinsa, that is also violence. So we should avoid violence, keeping in ourselves right view and right knowledge. Right view and right knowledge are required for action, right action. Nowadays there are wars between countries. So what is the reason of wars? There is also misconception of understanding. The people want to capture others' land, and they do not care for their rights, other rights. So this is the reason for wars. There may be another reasons, but this is one of them. So if we think that other beings are also equal to us and they also have right to live, so we should protect their life and we should protect their right to live. This can be adapted, and through fulfilling our demands, our wants only, and we should help others from what we bear, what we have more than our need. We should help them. Then it will help the all living beings and the world, and it will give a path for Sarvodaya. It will lead path for Sarvodaya. So in another, if we take another principle of Bhagwan Mahavir, aparigraha. So this is also, I have mentioned it in other words, and anekant drishti is also helpful for Sarvodaya, because the ideology, if we have the right ideology and we also honor others' ideology, others' thoughts, then it will give a path to peace and harmony. Peace and harmony. You have discussed it. Peace and harmony. These two words were in your topic. So peace and harmony are required, but these two words are required, but nobody goes to that path. A few persons go to that path. They are understanding that if we accumulate more and more, then there will be peace. If we accumulate more and more, there will be harmony. This is not the right path. What Bhagwan Mahavir wants to tell. This is not the right path. Right path, what we need, what our body needs, what what real need we can accumulate those much, and we should always help others, always think of others also. Then it will give harmony. It will spread harmony between the societies, between the countries, and between the states, and between the men, females. So, but there is misconception of understanding. So Samantabhadra has given right conception of Bhagwan Mahavir, that how can we understand the right thing through Nayaj. So we should use Nayaj for right thinking, right conception, and we should eradicate our misconception. And he has given also the concept of forgiveness. If somebody has done something wrong, then we should not oppose for always, and we should not understand it bad for all times. He can be good person through our messages, through understanding. So we should forgive. If we want to live in peace, we should forgive it. And if we want to disturb ourselves, then we should remember it. So if we want to live in peace, forget and forgive the person who has done something wrong towards us. So forgiveness is also a concept for Sarvodaya. And Sarvodaya means development of our mind, development of our body, and development of our instruments and all things, development of prosperity, development of progress in every kind way. And education is also helpful in that way. Education is needed, but education through right education is needed. Education, technology has been developed, science has done a lot new things, but what direction should be, what direction should be, what direction needs for Sarvodaya? That understanding is needed. For Sarvodaya, what direction? Because science is giving us lots of things, lots of technologies, but user should be acquainted of right use of that thing. So sadupayog is needed. What should we do? How should we use the things? The physics, the body, the mind, the speech. How should we use it? Use these. This is the way of Sarvodaya. I think so. And there may be many things to say, but there is a shortage of time. Pragyaji has told me that there are 5 to 7 minutes. I thanks Professor Dr. Srinetra Pandeyji, who has invited me, and he has given me this chance for chairing it. Although I'm not so able, I was not able to comment on this lecture, but I dared to say something, and I welcome all the dignitaries who are regularly joining this Dr. Sulekhi, Dr. Narendra Parsanji, Jaswant Modi ji, all the dignitaries, and Suganji, all of them. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. And for the formal thank you, I would turn towards our director, Dr. Pandey.
Yes. So I would like to express my gratitude to today's speaker, Dr. C. Devakumar ji, who threw a light on the Sarvodaya, the concept of Sarvodaya Tirth, as per Acharya Samantabhadra. So I am very thankful to you. You accepted my invitation and give your consent immediately when I discussed with you. So I am very thankful to you. I would like to thank today's chair, Professor Dharamchand Jain ji, who gave a broader phenomena to the concept of Sarvodaya Tirth in Jainism. I would like to thank somebody Sasi Pragya ji, Professor Jayakumar Upadhyay ji, Dr. Subhas Garai, who is from West Bengal. Few years back, he attended our program, workshop on Samayasar, and since then he is associated with us. He is associated with us, so I thank him. I thank Dr. Arihant Jain from Bombay. I thank Mr. Irfan from China. I thank Dr. Erika Kranti from Italy. So I thank each and every attendee of this session. Thank you so much.
And I thank you, Dr. Pandey, for organizing this series. So this is not the end. The year is ending, but the series is not ending. We will come up with another topic, another session next month, next year. So stay tuned. All the best. Thank you, Jain.
So next lecture will be delivered by
Stephen Vos.
Yes, Professor Steve Vos from US. So very soon we will announce the topic and date. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jain.